He's a youth motivational speaker, an author, a doting husband, and the co-founder and CEO of RaiseYourFlag.com, which is a web platform developed to connect high school students to careers without post-secondary education. Ryan Porter is simply a rebel with a cause who has dedicated his professional life to helping young people create an epic life for themselves. He's usually on the road or in Japan, but I had a chance to catch up with him in Toronto over some good old-fashioned sushi at DNY Sushi. I figured, of all places, why not meet at a Japanese restaurant?
That's a good call.
Yeah, because you're obviously very familiar with the country and all of its delicacies.
I wouldn't say all of them. There's some things I still haven't and will not try.
Really? Like
yeah,
what?
Like raw chicken.
Raw? Isn't that dangerous?
Yeah, right? But all my Japanese friends, my family, they laugh at me. I'm like, I'm not. It's raw chicken. Like a crazy white guy.
こんにちは。日本語わかりました？すごいですね。
At 21, going to Japan for the first time, would you say that was pretty much the catalyst for all of this?
Yeah, actually, that's it. That's exactly what it was. Moving out there, meeting just a ton of like really fascinating people that were doing things that I'd never heard of, people that were traveling to countries that I'd never heard of, having these experiences that like nobody talked to me about, kind of changed the way that I view things and sparked something in me, as cliche as that sounds, but like I wanted to share it with other people. Like there's no predetermined plan for young people. There's no checklist. It's like just go and do the things that you want to do that are going to bring you closer to the things that you want to be doing and the person that you want to become.
Man, kids these days are so lazy. They don't appreciate what they have. Kids these days don't know what hard work is. Kids these days, they don't even know what they want. Do you realize that there are people out there saying this stuff about us? About you? Well, it's time. It's time to start proving these people wrong.
Got a chance to check out your short film, Kids These Days.
Thanks.
And Brian, I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so good.
Yeah.
Who are kids these days?
I think that there's no definition. That's why we run into these problems, is we try to define an entire generation based on kind of the old rubric or the old standard of living and growing up. There are no rules right now. And the world that our parents and our parents' parents knew, it just doesn't exist. But we're still trying to define this generation using that standard. I've read a couple times that the largest generation gap that's ever existed in history exists right now between kids and their parents. Our parents grew up just knowing that you get a degree, you go and get a job, and everything's fine for 35 years, right? They grew up kind of like without technology, and then they kind of had technology, didn't understand it, and now they have an iPhone and they're like, but this pop-up keeps, can you do this? And so we've got a generation now that has grown up with the internet. And so what that means is they've grown up being smarter than their parents. And I know parents don't want to accept that, but they are. Like, the kids have the answer to every question in their pocket. And we haven't really adjusted for that, and we're still trying to generalize based on the way that we used to generalize a generation.
What would you say the employment landscape looks like for high school kids right now? How tough is it, or is it not tough at all? And
It's
just
really
kind
tough.
of a myth. It is
It's
tough.
really tough for high school students in particular, for high school graduates, for the ones that are going from high school into the workplace.
Yeah.
It's really tough because they're going up against people that have degrees and diplomas, that are going into jobs that don't require degrees and diplomas, and are essentially scooping them up from young people that could be doing that work without a degree or diploma.
And that's where you kind of come in with Raise Your Flag, right?
Yeah, Raise Your Flag is the company that I started to really help that group of kids that are going from high school into the workplace find jobs and companies that don't require degrees or diplomas and allow you to work within that company to have just like this really long, healthy and successful career within certain industries.
What are the top 3 things that high school students who are feeling a little lost, unsure, insecure about where they're going post high school, what are the top 3 things that they should know about the real world and the opportunities that lie ahead?
Yeah, so the top 3 things they should know, or the top 3 things they should be doing?
Should be doing.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
top 3
let's
things
go
that
with
they should be doing, like first thing is like starting something. You need to do something. Like you need to be with a group of people doing something that's not playing video games or watching television or spending time online, which are all things that are okay in moderation and on their own, right? But to be with a group of people that's working to get towards a common goal shapes a whole bunch of stuff and can start to supplement some of those work experiences that I was talking about. The second is start talking to people. Like, I think that we're so afraid of talking to people and asking questions because we think that we're going to be annoying. But the greatest learning that I experience, past and present, and I'm guessing future, comes from just talking to people and being vulnerable enough to just ask questions. Number 3, travel. Travel, get out, get lost. I don't care if it's going to your uncle's farm for the summer and working there, or backpacking through Europe. Like, I don't care what it is. Leave your community, leave your hometown, leave your family, because it's not until you leave all that stuff that you realize that it's actually stuff. Just leave and get lost and like experience things that you wouldn't have the opportunity to experience in your own backyard.
What would you want your legacy to be, Ryan?
That's a good question, but I would love to just have sparked this generation of like, I hate saying this, but I also love saying this, like polite hellraisers, like the people that are out there who are ruffling feathers, but not doing it in a rude, belligerent way, doing it because they don't believe in the things that people are saying they should be doing. And so like there's just a group of people who are like, I don't think that's right, and here's why.
You inspire hundreds, thousands of people on an annual basis. Is there someone out there that inspires you and you'd like to nominate for Bridging the Gap?
Yeah, so I've watched a couple of episodes, so I knew this was coming. There's this young guy out there, his name is Nicholas Montgomery. He's the CEO of this just really cool, fun company called Shelfies. And Shelfies are just these rad t-shirts and sweaters and socks, these onesies with like pepperoni pizza prints.
I've heard of them.
Yeah,
yes.
So he's the CEO of that company, and like I follow him on Instagram and we chat on Facebook, and I just had him help me out with something else for work. And on the way over here, I'm like, that guy would just be the perfect guy to talk to. He's out there and he seems to be having fun and just seems to be enjoying every minute of what he's doing.
That's what it's all about,
Yeah,
isn't it? I love that. Well, Nicholas, we're coming after you.
You're next.
You're next. Ryan and I, we know where you live. Well, we don't, but do you?
I don't.
Don't? Okay,
I
we'll
can just
find
ask
out.
him.
Okay, great.
Tell us where you live, Nicholas, and then we're coming for you.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for your time,
It's
and thank
my
you so
pleasure.
much for sharing your story and really inspiring all of us to live our most authentic life.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.